But first, they've got to do their best in this series. Jerd again with the sniper getting first blood for his team for 2 rounds in a row.
Yes, and here we go with Bance. He's going to find that kill, and this is looking very good for Splice. It just seems that the attack is so dominant.
And I mentioned these teams needing to adapt, Bando needing to make sure that they stay on top of their game against Splice, and there's a quick 4 up, 4 dead for Bando. But that time, you immediately had Josh laying down, watching their flank, so there was no opportunity for a pinch or a fluky play to come in. Here's your final kill cam from Bance yet again. One of the heroes of this Splice squad last year in the first season of the CWL. Still impressing now as we move into Infinite Warfare.
That's it. It's stuck with the organization now with some new recruits as well. And the guys on the analyst desk were talking about this. That, you know, is this potentially the new generation of God Squad that we have here?
Let's swap on over to Jerd. Does he still have the sniper rifle? Doesn't appear so. Hesk, though, does for the side of Bando, which beautiful grenade there to even things back on out. And, are they prepared for him to push around this corner? He has the EMC, but because he's got the sniper, this is not the weapon he wants to have. Gets one, makes it a 1v1. Thankfully for that cover, tough shots to land. If your Hesk did what he could with only having that secondary pistol, but we'll go ahead and watch it now from Jerd's perspective. Stays calm, stays behind cover, and there, K-Bar versus a pistol. I take K-Bar every time.
Yeah, I mean, very aggressive play with just the sidearm, but I feel given the situation, he didn't really have any chance there. He was caught right out in the open, had to go for that challenge.
I didn't mind it at all. He really didn't even have to pick up enough time to pick up a weapon that would even be on the ground. So now Splice with a 2-round lead. They're back on offense. Mad Cat playing the objective for this team. Briggs currently 0-4 on the side of Bando. The team's essentially playing a 3 versus 4, which is not a good sign at all. As 3 players are now stacked on the drill, this could spell disaster. 2 now dead. There's the trade. 1 versus 1. And Splice wind up taking it there. Again, Splice trading efficiently.
And this is going to be a very quick search and destroy if we carry on at this rate. I mean, this is already 5 rounds in. Splice looking very, very strong. Only 1 attacking round has been won by Bando. Now let's see how they fare up now if they get the attack again.
I really, really do like the roles of this Splice team right now. And I think that they're only going to develop and flourish even more as this weekend goes on. And I think it's all led by Mad Cat with that NV4. They're so sure of his ability to shoot. I mean, this is the guy that many regard in North America, pro players, as the best EU player of all time. He's played in North America. He's lived there at a point to try to further his Call of Duty career. Now, against some of the top European squads this weekend, you expect him to excel. 3 now dead again on the side of Bando. It's a 1 versus 2. JME left last alive.
Let's see what he can produce from this, as he needs to do something very, very special here. They cannot go to the match point. If they take this 5-1, Splice are just going to be running away with this. So a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
And look at your minimap again. Staying active is the correct way to play this.
Ooh.
If you're on the side of Splice, oh, God, some miserable shots right there. As that will now be a 5-1 round lead in favor of Splice. Here it is again, though. They stay active, and Josh destroys him there with the ERAD. I'm so happy to see this weapon now more in play. And this gets me excited until they begin to enlist some of those legendary submachine gun players to use this in the current meta. We have a potential James Bond alert now with the 0-7 with Briggs this round, so we'll have to see if that winds up developing into a true statement as things play on out. Grenade comes in. JME with first blood. Will Splice back on up. Well, they don't have to worry. They've got Jerd with the sniper, and the flank now coming in from Josh. Unfortunately, the weaknesses of the submachine gun still shown there, as that little bit of range still throws off the weapon. Bance should have a call from his teammate. Will he begin to push in towards his close door? There it is. Challenges Briggs. Not going to work out for him there. Briggs will get the kill. All the streaks in the world, though, for Jerd. 10-2 with the sniper rifle. Absolutely great gameplay. He'll ping the map as well and see exactly where his opponent is.
Oh, and surely.
Oh, God. Rewinds back out. Still hasn't closed the game out yet.
Yeah, and that was a very rushed rewind there. I don't think that's when he wanted to be using it particularly, but again, had no choice. He's wanting to close this out now.
Yeah.
And he has decided to go for that plan. It has gone down. Here comes the chase, though, and he's not going to latch on. He's revealed his position. Hesk is in trouble.
Oh, gosh, I was actually not ready for him to try to do this. Calls the Scorchers right away, and that's going to be a misplay.
Wow.
On the side of Jerd, kind of panics and tries to use those streaks to close out this map. But you could see Hesk was immediately chasing, following that kill, right? He saw him go into that back control area, so he just pushes him right inside the deck and decides, hey, I'll just push you before the Scorchers even get down. Not only does he get behind cover, but he cleans up the kill to make this one a 5-2 game.
Yeah.
Side of Bando not out of it yet.
I mean, that was huge play from Hess there. He forced Jerd to use the rewind and used what is considerably a powerful score streak as well for Search and Destroy. Great plays from him, but still a long way to go if they want to be able to take this. Let's stay on board with Hesk. Seems to be the top performer for Bando right now.
Yeah, I think another thing, too, to point out is Jerd winds up using 2 streaks there in that round. So, hey, the game does go on longer. Something to keep an eye on. Hess trying to be the opener now with the active camo. But look at how Splice played this. They've sat so far back. Finally, it does look like one has been cut down. This will put it into a 3v3. Jerd does his final streak, but that's a big kill. That you need to get if you're Hess. Mad Cat now cut down. And just like that, a winnable round goes to shut down Splice up 2-0. Taking care of business. That one was a little bit easier than that first respawn.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of occasions there that we just saw some sloppy shooting from Bando, and it really has cost them. We could have been seeing potentially a tied game at the moment if they'd have managed to clutch up in those rounds. But no, they have been denied, and once again, Splice victorious 2-0 in the series.
And this is where it worries me, because Uplink is a game mode for me that separates the good teams from the best teams. And on a map that we're going to be seeing in Frost, where control of the certain lane of the map is so key, as we get into it, we'll touch on it a little bit more. I'm worried now. If you're a Bando fan, which I'm wondering how many there are out there, you've got one in me, Bando. If you can take a map off Splice, you've done better than a lot of teams will ever do. Let's go ahead and take a look at your scoreboard, though. With you got Jerd 11-3, monster game from him, a plant as well. Mad Cat 7-4, Josh 7-5, and then Bant sitting at 5-6. 1-8 though from Briggs. Rough game from him. Want to see how he bounces back now as we head into the uplink.
Yeah, absolutely. And Briggs just having such a tough time. And Call of Duty, with these games, it's one of them things where people don't like to associate kills with the victory or the defeat. But when it comes to Search and Destroy, I mean, 1-8 is just, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, and I believe only 1 assist there with his team. So we will get game 3 started up right away. Match 1 of a very long 4-day weekend of Call of Duty action here in Europe. Right now, what time is it in North America? 3:47 p.m. here. So people are waking up. People are starting to wake up on the East Coast. They've got some European Call of Duty action to watch. If you're from Australia, couldn't tell you what time or day or year it is out there. So we hope you're enjoying this in 2019. And then here in Europe, I got 4 hours of sleep last night, so thankfully for energy drinks and your presence, Rel, we're gonna keep casting some great Call of Duty.
That's what I do. That's what I do. That's why I'm here.
Actually, too, Mr. X's suntan his spray on tan is very bright as well, keeping me wide awake. So I've got everything I could ever need to excel here on a broadcast. And as well, shout out to everybody on the Gfinity production team, always doing a stellar job to get the day started. Again, we're going through the rig draft on our screen. We'll be sure to show you guys that in just a few moments. Rel, for you, do we see a game 4 in this series? Do we see another hard point, or is this one done?
I think the Search and Destroy really showed the difference between these two teams. I mean, yeah, the later stages of that hard point were quite Splice dominated, but there were just glimmers of hope from Bando. But that Search and Destroy was completely one way. And I think, as you said yourself, if there's any game mode where that's really going to resonate through, it's going to be Uplink.
Yeah.
Splice are going to walk away with this.
And I'm wondering how practiced the teams come into this, because as you talked about a little bit earlier, you were showing off your Call of Duty knowledge, and you brought up how Precinct and Frost, 2 of the maps that are only seen in this one game mode. So how comfortable do they feel? How prepared are they to go up against the likes of Splice if you're on Bando's side? A lot of teams will stop online, play through, a couple rotations of the hard points, get some uplink scrims in when they can. I'm looking forward to this one, though, because I think this could be an example from one team of how to play this map when you outslay your opponents. In the first respawn, it was close to the majority of it, but it ended with nearly an 80-second victory for Splice. Bando, I'm rooting for you. I want to see Game 4. I want to see Breakout, Hardpoint. But my gut tells me, and I've got a large gut here, I brought the American gut over, it tells me that this one is done 3-0.
Well, from the mining facility atop an asteroid we go to.
Oh, God, I dislike you.
One of Jupiter's frosty moons.
What are you, a marketing man now?
In Europa, as we take it to map number 3.
He's still going with describing where this map is located.
People need to know.
Here's your rig draft. Reactive, overdrive, active camo, rewind. Mirror matchup there makes a lot of sense against Centurion. Really the one that you wind up seeing be the outlier in hardpoint. Game number 3, a potential for a sweep now. As we're on board with Splice's Mad Cat, the same weapon he's had all series If it works, you might as well keep it on, which is the NV4. First blood does come out for Bando, but already Jerd, and this is why I love, look, 2 submachine guns brought out now by Jerd as well as Josh, and they're just going to sprint all around the map, keep catching Bando off guard. Right now, how would they ever expect Jerd to be in the back of their base? The only reason why they would think that is because they're currently all spawning up on top of each other near this blue side.
Well, look at this. It is Hess going objective. Manages to find a kill. If he can get this one, it would have really opened things up, but he does go down. Bob and Josh got to fight for this kill. Very important in the central map.
See, that's another example where that 1v1 gunfight win could result in a 1-point throw potentially for the side of Bando. Instead, it's Splice cleaning it up. Now they're going to flood down middle map. Look at your mini-map right now. It's all yellow, and this is the area of the map we were hinting about a little bit, Rel, prior to this game starting on up. You want to control the sub-bay area. Back Robo. Already a dunk coming in for Splice. They're up 2-0, and with the setup they currently have, they're going to look for a rally.
Yeah, I mean, he just ran that through completely unchallenged, Josh. Great support work from Bance, who picked up a couple of kills, and you can see it just being continued now as Bance lighting things up with a 4-kill streak.
And Bance, they're actually going to wind up rotating this one towards this outer cliff area, and you can see Bando not really expecting this one. Already the kills coming in. You've got one player sitting back construction. It's Briggs, who's just nervous for his life as Bance comes out, snaps on him. There's the dunk as well. 4-0. As this is what I was worried about. Typically, from what I've seen, Frost, a map that if it's even in slaying, it is very even in score. But with everyone on Splice currently positive, you've got Bance pushing towards a triple positive scoreline. It's all signs towards this one being an absolute slaughter. Again, the drone being pushed up. Will Jerd wait for the help of his teammates? He'll turn back around. Quick beat down, not going to happen this time. Either way, it's a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, I don't think he could make up his mind who to go for the melee on. And are we going to see Bando answer back in some way, shape, or form? I mean, 2 carry captures down. It's early days, right? There's still plenty of time left in this to make something of it.
And already, you're seeing how the players of Bando are pushing towards unorthodox sides of the map. They're going from cliff. They're just trying to do whatever they can to keep their base clear, and they're not actually getting the setup they want. There, they try to advance the drone before actually getting some kills. And yes, they were just throwing it forward, but either way, I'm not even picking up the drone there. I'm getting 4 players, 3 players inside of that sub-bay area, trying to force out some spawns and get some kills before I do anything objective focused. Their Splice do exactly that. There's another dunk coming on in. Already 3 players of Splice, unselfish, getting the drone when they need to, and getting the dunk in when their team has the opportunity.
I mean, they're just making this look very, very easy. We've not really seen anything but Bando apart from defense. Whether it'll be the same story when we switch sides, we'll have to see. But for now, still just short of 2 minutes play on this side.
Somehow Hesk is on a 6 streak. Does get cut down there. Was close to earning more score streaks for himself. Bob just trying to stall time out for his teammates to come off spawn near middle map. I do believe Splice has spotted him. There it is. And again, Splice putting so much pressure towards this cliff side. I do like how they're giving themselves options. They've gotten dunks from the cliff side, from pushing through this mid-ice tunnel, as well as moving towards this sub-bay area. As I said, Bando always having to rotate, switch positions, and they're not able to get comfortable anywhere in their base. Jerd again moving up with the drone. He's got a lead blocker. This will be a dunk, 8-0, and we're only 4 minutes into this game, Rel.
Yeah, and it's looking like it's going to be the same story for the final 6 as well.
Yep.
On a 7-kill streak there. Does go down. Here we go, though, with Josh. I mean, the only one who's currently negative in terms of slaying is Josh for the team, but, I mean, we've seen him running that uplink drone so many times, but captures being made all throughout the team.
Yeah, Mad Cat was actually 1 kill off of earning himself 2 more streaks, and wow, what an interesting little play right there. Throws a drone to the enemy, gets the help of his teammate to cut him down. This will be another dunk coming on in, 10-0. This one is not a surprise for me at all. When you have a team outslaying by 15 kills in just side number 1, I mean, that's just that's a complete difference maker. That means that Splice have had a number advantage for a minute and a half of this side, where they're just in 4v3, 4v2 scenarios. Again, 3 go down. They're chaining together the kills. They've got the lead blockers. 12-0, an absolute slaughter right now. And look, Splice, they're keeping their foot on the gas pedal. They want to get another score in before this side is done.
Wow. Well, no mercy rule here for...
They've got overdrive. Do they go for it? Looks like no this time around.
They're going to keep it. This is only going one way. This can only really be a 3-0 shutout from Splice. And what a message they're sending out as well to the rest of the teams competing here.
But look how the series has gone, right? Hardpoint, they start off down for the first full rotation. As the game goes on, they slowly get their lead 20, 30, 40, and then the game ends with, what, an 80-second victory? You move into the S&D. Outside of a couple rounds that they were 1 kill away from taking, they stomped it 6-2. Now you move into uplink 12-0. This team is in their groove. This is exactly the matchup that I think Splice wanted to have to start off this weekend. A team that you expect them to beat. They get their confidence now on land with this new patch, and now they're ready to kick things fully into gear as this weekend develops.
All right, well, here we go. Couple of kills being made, and
Ooh!
That's very nice from Hess. This is where they need to turn up now. Bando having a nice little outing here. We're going to see Splice on defense.
And I want to see how Splice do here, because they watch right there. Bando, they were in that scenario how many times last side where they were getting pushed from 2 different angles. They have to defend their base, and they didn't do it once. Splice always had the lead blockers when the gunfights. There, Bando tried to do what Splice did that last half, and they get stopped on their first attempt. Beautiful setup to have 2 players sit in the back construction area. And again, where do we see this drone move? In towards sub bay, in towards Robo. One time, Rel, did we see Bando do this last side? The answer is no.
And, you really, really can see the difference between these teams now. We were saying this before. This is the game mode that it shines through. We're just seeing kill after kill being made by Splice. You said before that Bando were being completely outslayed. Every single one of them negative.
Yeah, and this was just, for me, it was just expected. I mean, Briggs, the guy's had a tough couple games. What, 1-8 in the search and destroy. Now 7-22, triple negative in the slaying department. When you've got 4 of the arguable best players in Europe on the side of Splice, you expect him to do just this. Side 2, a little bit less of a scoring fest right now. But either way, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. Not trying to beat a dead horse here, but you expect Splice to take this. This is really now just a waiting game for the 3-0 to come into play. You saw there's a lot of action to come down today. And again, Bando not out of anything yet. I do think they still have a potential to win some games and make some stuff happen in this pool. I just never expected them to beat Splice.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is, I guess, the consolation for them, because in terms of the competitors for this pool, we've got Aware Gaming and Fab Games.
Yep.
So definitely after what we saw in the hard point, some potential there for them to advance, but they are going to need to take both those wins.
As time ticking down, 2.5 minutes remaining. 13-0 right now, with just padding the stats for Splice as they're flying all around. Multiple players with streaks. Really just full momentum they're going into. All sorts of things just rolling into their way. So now, as you look towards these groups, right, in the action we're going to see as the day goes on, I think you expect Splice to set a top pool A. What are your predictions for the rest of the pools? Who's going to be that top team going into the championship bracket?
Well, I mean, the interesting one for me, in terms of Group C, I'd go towards Orbit. Group D, maybe a toss-up between Infused and Fnatic. Not too sure on that.
Okay.
But for me, the interesting one now is Group B, especially with the addition of Epsilon.
Well, it was funny. When we start off today, you mentioned how you statistically went and looked into everything, found out exactly who the group of death would be.
Yes.
Based off of some things you wound up finding online.
Yep.
Then you found out some news that obviously things were shifting. Prismatic was going to be in favor of Epsilon. Now Epsilon back in, and Prismatic no longer being here. Does this now come back to being your group of death for this weekend?
Yeah, Group B are certainly the tough one. I think Intuition are going to have the roughest time against the likes of the Imperial, Elevate, and Epsilon. It really is, for me, in Group B, a toss-up between 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
I can see Elevate taking it, but Epsilon and Imperial is going to be such an important match.
Shane and crew, can they wind up getting into that championship bracket? Always a pleasure to see Shane do well. 16-2. A score did come on the board from Bob, as this side, as we mentioned, a little bit closer, but either way, the damage has been done. You cannot afford to be outslayed by 20-plus kills in one side of Uplink and expect to get the victory. Biggest takeaways from this series for you, Rel? Anything positive you want to say for Bando as they can look forward to their next matches?
Well, I mean, I'll start on Splice first. Bance and Mad Cat. just showing here why they are the big slayers for the team, while Josh and Jerd just run havoc in the middle. I mean, for Bando, a few things I've taken away. Hesker's been a standout player for me. I think he's performed really well. Obviously, this uplink game isn't much to go off, but we saw him get some really smart plays on Search and Destroy. The downfall, which I don't know if something that can really be helped. It's not something they can really have a team huddle about, but simply some wobbly shooting. And that's really what it's come down to a lot of times.
Positive 34 as a team is Splice currently. My biggest takeaway from this series is, again, the roles and the variety we've seen come out of the boys of Splice when it comes down to weapons and strategy and what we saw brought out. Love seeing Jerd have the confidence to use a sniper. That is it, folks. Your first series of the CWL London event presented by PS4 is a swift 3-0 as expected. Splice come out of the gates hot.
My goodness, and what a huge victory that is, really. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more of that from Splice, judging from the performances we've seen online and now offline. Huge plays from them. Congratulations to Splice with 3-0. I'd love to hear what the guys on the analyst desk have to say about this.
Much well, little bit nervous there at the beginning, actually, because we were about to look very, very wrong. Bando put up a fantastic... No.
No.
Never mind. Right, Bando did put up a good fight to begin with. So let's kind of get our first impressions on what we thought. Don't disagree with me.
At the beginning, it was like the first 40 seconds of the game.
But
No, it was a lot closer than we thought.
The hard point was closer than I thought going into maybe the first 100 points, but that's what I was saying about, the first game of the tournament. Splice, they're probably not played in, 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
They come in, then they just warm up, and I don't want to say too much about it.
They start pulling away, but
yeah, fair enough. Bando put up a bit of a fight on the hard point.
I mean, Splice just showed how dominant they can potentially be. Obviously, against a team where you expect them to kind of cruise through, they took care of business in this series. Man, these games were they were hard to watch at some point.
All right, so is this a benchmark of now where we see, Splice are coming and firing all guns? Like I said, the hard point, are we going to really attribute that to warming up? Are we going to attribute that not being in full gear? We know they looked a little bit sleepy before the game. Maybe they just weren't firing all cylinders.
I mean, sometimes games like that, you kind of coast through.
Yeah.
So I think Splice comes into that one. They know they can take that pretty easy. I would need to see it against, like, top competition. Like, I'd love to see them go up against. Obviously, we'll probably see it later in the tournament, like an Elevate or an Orbit, and see how they fare against them.
All right, well, let's talk about the game in general then. Obviously, that did kind of maybe warm them. Maybe kind of brought them to life here, because the rest of the series, it became more of what we actually expected.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, S&D is when kind of Splice kind of, Rel said it on the casting desk, and he said, it just separated the two teams. And you could see there was individuals that were having a bit of a tough time as well, for Bando as well. And I think that kind of just went on into the uplink. But S&D, they looked a very strategical, composed squad as that you expect Splice. I just thought it was a bit sporadic from Bando. Like, some of the plays they were making, I was questioning. But again, when you're coming up one-on-one, the gunfights were all going.
Yeah, I mean, Briggs had a rough series. I mean, I think he had 1 kill in the search and destroy, triple negative there in the uplink. He had a pretty rough series for Bando. So maybe he plays a little bit better. I still don't think they win. I think the games are much closer, obviously. But, first game nerves, you expected that from Bando.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can't really talk too much about Bando, and they didn't do well. They were never expected to win this game. No. They were never really even expected to make it a close game. The fact they did so well on the hard point was even a bit of a shock to us. But where do they come in the rest of the group? Do you think that did we see enough to say, you know what, Bando, maybe they can come second. Maybe they can get a few wins off the other guys in this group.
I think it's really, really hard to tell. I know that's kind of sitting on the fence a bit, which I like to do.
Yep.
But you go in against, number 1 team in Europe. How do you kind of judge them off that? And I think we've not seen, that 4 on LAN already. So I like to think they've got the hardest game out of the way. They can go up against their next 2 and really give it them. From what I saw on hardpoint, I think they may be able to push third. I don't know about second.
It's a really easy way to lose your confidence, getting beat that bad. I don't see them making any noise in the group. I think potentially like 3-4, but still, I mean, 3-4, you don't make it out. I mean, at the end of the day, 3 and 4 doesn't really make a difference. You're still a loser in the group. So,
well, I think it's interesting because obviously you've obviously never seen these guys. You have nothing to kind of really judge them against. Previous history. You're only going to see them play Splice. Did you see anything there that maybe showed the inklings of maybe
the hard point?
Maybe it's just because it's Splice.
The hard point, they were playing well at the beginning, but Splice, they were at the hills early, rotated properly. They won all those gunfights. The key important fights in a hard point to win. Search and destroy, they just seem outmatched.
Yeah, and it probably should have been 6-1 as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then I know the uplink. It's tough because uplink on Frost usually a lower scoring game. You know, Splice just racks his score up. It's harder to just kind of fight back from that. Like, you can never get a good read because when you're down by so much, then you have to start overextending, guys running everywhere. So that's how you see the lopsided kill disparities.
Yeah, I think that's when we started to see the kind of the breakup as well. Like, you see this from some of these teams, like in Harbour, when things are going well, you're still playing properly. But when it's starting to get a bit desperate and you're maybe being beaten a little bit, and you can't win any gunfights, you can't get in position, you know, your teammates might stop calling out. They might just be a bit frantic, like, oh, we're 5 behind now. Let's rush somewhere. I need to make a big hero play. Do you think that's where maybe, you know, newer teams without the experience, such as Bando, may start to fall apart? It did look like it in that last game. It actually became worse as the game went on.
I mean, look, when you're down by that.
Hardcore team deathmatch. Welcome to the battle, Set Def soldiers. Enemy Warden incoming. Take cover. The enemy has a drone package. Enemy UAV. The enemy has a drone package. Enemy Warden incoming. Take cover. for success. Enemy UAV. Defeated. Perhaps a more effective strategy should be applied.
Qualify for promotion and new asset. Gather round. Got a new mission. Be advised, LZ is hot. UNSA hostiles confirmed in the AO.
Hardcore team deathmatch. Excellent weapon loadout. Enemy UAV in your vicinity. Target just went down. Moving in the park. Man down. The enemy has a drone package.
Enemy contact!
Enemy UAV. Enemy vulture on the field. Has a drone package. Enemy UAV in your vicinity. Enemy Scorchers. Take cover. Enemy UAV. Enemy Enemy Scarab active. The enemy is halfway there.
How it all plays out now with North American teams. Will they begin to enlist some of those legendary submachine gun players to use this in the current meta? We have a potential James Bond alert now with the 0-7 with Briggs this round, so we'll
Location confirmed. Wolverines commencing UNSA operation. Boots on the ground in 5.
move it!
Team deathmatch. Good day for a battle, Scar Team. In the lead.
I see him! Running across that wall!
Enemy ground support is active. Gained the upper hand. Friendly drone support is active. I have identified an enemy UAV in your vicinity. Friendly drone support is active. Our adversaries have regained the upper hand. I have identified an enemy UAV. I believe that just put us in the lead. Have regained the upper hand. You are halfway there. Continue advancing. Our adversaries have regained the upper hand. Enemy UAV in your vicinity.
Soldier down.
The enemy has a drone package. The enemy launched a counter UAV. Adversaries have regained the upper hand. Friendly counter UAV entering the airspace. Friendly drone support is active. I believe that just put us in the lead. Approaching LZ, check your equipment to support the SDF.
Team Deathmatch. Welcome to the battle, SetDef soldiers. You are now in the lead. Friendly drone support is active. Enemy UAV in your vicinity. Friendly counter UAV online. You no longer have the lead. The enemy launched a counter UAV.
Copy, I'm on it!
You no longer have the lead. You are now in the lead. support is active. You no longer have the lead. You are now in the lead. You no longer have the lead. Allied drone package entering airspace. The enemy is halfway there. You are now in the lead. You no longer have the lead. You are now in the lead. You are now in the lead. Friendly drone support is active. Drone support is active. Combat statistics nominal. Friendly drone support is active.
Here, I found it!
You no longer have the lead. Friendly counter UAV online. Enemy UAV in your vicinity. Limited mission time remaining. Friendly shock sentry performing overwatch. You are now in the lead. Mission success. Running diagnostics.
That's a failed mission. You can take those keys to the quartermaster. New orders, direct from command.
Through this matchup then, were you very confident going into it?
Yeah, 100% confident in every game we go into. I mean, they're just a troll team, so we just took it as a troll, so.
Wow, okay. Well, talk me through hard points. So the first hard point you guys played, they were on your tails quite a lot, and then the second was a bit of a whitewash. What do you make of that?
I mean, the first map, I mean, we've just got here, so we was just chilling. I mean, they put a little fight. It was like, start talking, let's start trying, and win the map. S&D was all about Briggs and the donut. I mean, Bance gave him the kill, but we didn't welcome him to the agency.
And you guys are confident going into the next couple of rounds?
Yeah, 100%. Gotta be confident in every game. It's a jetpack game. Anything can happen. You gotta be 100% in your shot, in your team, and your comms. It's a jetpack game.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bryce. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Attention, high roller on deck. That'll get the job done, and then some.